Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Realtor Times. I have a very special guest today, Kristina Kazemi, one of the most successful realtors down here in Toronto. Kristina, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. A little bit about myself. I'll give you the basics. I've been in real estate for almost 8 years now. I'm an investor myself, so I've obviously tried a bunch of different avenues and strategies within real estate, and now just really focused also on kind of a wide range, but first time buyers and also luxury.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Glad to have you here. Let's begin. Gonna ask you a few questions. Let's see how the conversation goes. If you want to pause and go to the next question, if you're not comfortable answering a few of them, let
Ooh.
us know.
Okay.
There is a couple of questions
Spicy
that are
questions?
nice. Not no not too
Okay.
crazy, but
Okay.
let's keep it interesting. So first question is obviously we know that the Toronto market is not doing great. So a lot of investors have shifted from Toronto and they're investing their money elsewhere, United States, Dubai, wherever the real estate market is doing a little bit better. If I were to give you $1 million today, would you invest it in Toronto or would you invest it in somewhere else like Dubai?
It's a good question. Okay, I let me think about that. Well, to be honest, I've looked into both. I
Hmm.
have had an interest of investing in Dubai,
Okay.
and there is a lot of pros to that as well. If I had $1 million and I would invest,
Hmm.
it would be in Toronto.
It would be in Toronto.
It would be in Toronto.
Why is that?
The reason is after doing a lot of research on other places in
Hmm.
around the world of where these investors are flocking to, um, still we're still showing that Toronto does have a big international appeal. And while the rules or the laws right now might not be in favor to that,
Of course.
there is still, if you think of any other country in the world, we're one of the top that has such a mixed pool of different people and cultures.
Of course.
So when people are wanting to leave their countries and start a new life, like
Hmm.
we're on the top of that. So
Of
I
course.
think there's still a lot of room to grow there.
Hmm. I completely agree with
So
you.
that's where, if you're asking me personally, it would be in
I
Toronto.
completely agree with you. I think Toronto has a lot of upside, even though the market is not doing so great right now. But in my opinion, the market always bounces back.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be a crazy market like it was in 2021, 2022.
Hmm.
The market is not too bad right now, honestly. It's a fairly balanced market depending on what you're selling. Some locations, some properties tend to sell better than others, but
Hmm.
it's not the craziest market. It's a very balanced market in my opinion, but I think Toronto has a lot of upside to it. At least today with the market with the prices that I'm seeing. So after that, let's get into the next question. So if someone asked you right now, is this actually a good time to buy in Toronto? What would you tell them?
Uh, well, the first question, what product class? Are we talking about a house or a condo or?
Anything. If somebody had, let's say, some saved up money that they didn't need and they wanted to invest it into real estate, would you tell them that it's a good time to buy, or should they stop? Like, should they hold off for now? Do you think there's going to be a bigger dip in the market? What do you think?
I would absolutely say it's a great time to buy.
Hmm.
And I know probably every realtor says this, but if we're getting specific, I would say, and if you're an investor and this is to buy solely for an investment property, not a, individual purpose or owner or to use it yourself,
Of course.
I would say, a condo is actually a great opportunity right now.
100%. 100%. I agree with you for
Yeah.
sure. I think there's a lot of good opportunities today in Toronto. You can never time the market to see where the very, very
Hmm.
bottom is, but I think we're at a very good bottom right now.
Yeah.
And considering what the prices are versus what they were before, there's a lot of opportunity out there. So everyone keeps hearing that Toronto prices are down.
Hmm.
Do you see that more as an opportunity or as a warning sign? Because I'll tell you a little bit. A lot of people see that as a warning sign, and a lot of buyers don't want to pull the trigger because they're scared that the market's going to go even further down. But you see, like you see a big capital company from Montreal coming and scooping up $500 million worth of condos down here in Toronto. So these big companies with this kind of cash are coming in and buying these opportunities that the regular homeowner buyers are kind of missing out on. So I think they see something that the regular person doesn't see, which is something to consider. But what do you think? Do you think it's more of an opportunity, or it's a warning sign that the prices have came down so much?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely an opportunity. And the reason why I think it's an opportunity is it really comes down to supply and demand, right? Ultimately, the real estate market is always going to be supply and demand. What we're seeing right now is there is a lot of supply, right? And there's a lot of condos that are coming to market, especially new condos, a lot of inventory. I think the number was like 30,000 coming to market in the next 2 years or so. But what happens once it's a bit of a slow absorption, what happens eventually when that does get absorbed and there's nothing else coming up but people are moving, then we still might have that problem of not having enough supply, which was the original issue that really drove the housing market up.
Okay.
So that's what I would, that's what I think gives some confidence.
Of course, of course. So I want to ask you a little bit of a personal question. What is your favorite area? If you were to buy a place for yourself, where would you live?
Rosedale.
Is that because you have a lot of listings there?
Well, it's just, it's one of the best pockets and neighborhoods for a reason. You get everything. You get the suburban feel of, knowing your neighbors, where everybody's taking care of their lawn and you see everybody out front. You get the location of being still close to everything. You still get the downtown life. You get the, some people really like the heritage restrictions that they have on it to preserve. So maintaining that charm, and, you don't really have an area in Toronto that can comfortably, hold on to an identity or a character.
Definitely.
Right? Because, people buy land, they have their own vision, they turn it to what they want.
Definitely.
You see a lot of bungalows and mansions, and you don't really have that consistency. So I think that's, one of the many reasons why Rosedale is just its own pocket. And
That's awesome.
Standard.
So if you were to invest your money, what if you were to buy a property as an investment? Would you still do Rosedale, or is there better investment opportunities?
Investment opportunities, I would say where I would put my money right now is condos. And finding, those opportunities where, there's a lot of gems and there's a lot of kind of psychology behind why the prices of certain condos are much lower than others. But I would say that's really where you can find a lot of opportunities, mostly because historically speaking, they were investor driven. And those investors or smart investors might have other opportunities that they want to.
Exactly.
So reasons, the driving factor behind liquidating might have more motivation than others. So that's where I think you can really, really find those deals. And then in terms of being an investor, they're much more likely to, rent out and have your costs covered than other.
Yeah, definitely. So
this is really rapid fire.
We're trying to put you in that corner.
Okay, let's
to
go.
get the real answers from you. So what's the biggest mistake that you see buyers are making today in the market?
Mistake, let me think. I would say there's maybe two parts to it, but not acting on the right opportunities and maybe absorbing too much information from different directions.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, I know our biggest competitor.
The biggest. I actually just lost a deal to ChatGPT, but
Oh yeah,
I'll tell you that story
yeah.
after.
I was almost there too. I'm
Yeah.
just constantly battling the robot.
I know. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the other thing? What's the mistake that the buyers are making today?
So I think, as a buyer, especially if you're new or you're just getting into the market, you could have a certain list of criteria and maybe you sit down with yourself and really narrow what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, you know, if you're working with a good realtor and they find you exactly what you're looking for and that right product and the right price point,
Mm-hmm.
and there's maybe thinking, if I got that or found that so quickly, what's going to happen if I wait longer?
Mm-hmm.
So I think sometimes that looking on the other side and thinking that there's going to be more out there,
Mm-hmm.
it's a double-edged sword, right? Where
Yeah.
that can definitely happen, but
Of course.
sometimes if there's a really good opportunity and if it does hit what you're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
you should always shoot your shot and just see where you land.
100%. 100%. I think buyers are, which I don't blame them because the market is slow, but I think
Mm-hmm.
they are a lot of buyers are becoming very picky, and they're not pulling the trigger for, let's say, for example, the kitchen is not exactly what we
Yeah.
want it to be, but like the price point is where they want it to be, the location is where they want it to be, everything fits, but like small little details which is not fitting them, and they're pulling back from a transaction. I don't think it's the best idea. I don't think that this many options is going to be on the table in the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very good time for the buyers to go out there and find something they actually like. They have the opportunity to negotiate. They have the
Yes.
opportunity to inspect the place, to put financing clauses to make sure everything's good to go before they go firm. We're in a hot market. You're not really able to do
Right.
that. Not so much inventory on the market. Not too many options. And a lot of the times in the hot market, like back in 2022, I remember that like the listing agents wouldn't even consider a conditional
Yeah.
offer,
It's just
because
not even
it
an
was
offer.
because not that they're doing something bad. It's just that there was another firm offer on the other
Yeah.
side of the line that that you were competing with, so they wouldn't
Yeah.
even recognize your offer at that point. So I
Exactly.
think it's a very good time for them to check out what's out there. Another question I have for you in regards to Dubai, because I I'll be honest with you. I'm a big critic of Dubai. I come
Okay.
from a Middle Eastern country, um, but I feel like with how Middle East is situated and with all this stuff and the tensions
Mm-hmm.
that are going on there, and it's not something recent. These tensions have been going on forever. I don't know. It's not the safest spot for me to be investing my money. I've had realtor friends that work out there, and reach out to me. Hey, let's buy this. Let's buy that. It's a good opportunity. And they are making money. Some of them,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. In the long run, it's just not something I'm comfortable with. But what do you think? Do you think the real estate in Dubai is like is it just a hype that these guys made on social media, or is it actually like something solid that to look forward to?
I think the type of investment might be a little bit different as well. I don't really know how much something appreciates there. And while there might be a lot of incentives,
Mm-hmm.
I think the draw is mostly to people that possibly want to move there or possibly want to start a business there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really maybe the draw, but in terms of real estate and holding on to something and seeing what appreciation happens, I don't believe there's a lot of certainty around that just
No.
yet.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if we're looking at trends from here and seeing what happens when there's an excess of inventory. There's not really enough data to support that it's an investor can have pure confidence that what they put in, they're going to, have a solid return from.
Of course, of course. I think the market in Dubai is very new,
Mm-hmm.
comparing it to somewhere like Toronto. Real estate in Toronto has been around for many, many years,
Yeah.
and it's been growing. Obviously, not in the past 2 3 years, but it's always been growing, and I think it's going to continue on. There's always been the down part and the upside right
Mm-hmm.
after, but I don't know. I have a problem with Dubai's market being very new, and with where they are situated. That one one little war or something happening
Yeah.
between the countries over there reflects the market significantly as it is right now. That's one of the problems that I have with it, and the other problem that I have with it is that Dubai is exactly where we were with the condo markets in 2022.
Yeah.
I have clients, or I know people that have purchased condominiums back in 2021, 2022, where now the condo is ready to go and it's appraised 40% less than
Yes,
purchase
yeah.
value. So I think it might have been a good option to invest in maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, but now it's at like a very high peak, and to kind of like invest in a property at that price, I don't know. In my opinion, the risks are much higher than the gains. So I personally wouldn't go there at this point. All right, so that's let's get into the personal stuff. How are you?
Okay. Oh wow, that okay. Good, good.
All right, perfect. What made you choose real estate in the first place?
Um, I think I've always started in roles that revolved around sales, but I really just like the idea of getting into a career where everything is under your control. And that comes with its pros and cons. Again, that's a double-edged sword. But I like the fact that, you can, if you work hard enough, like you could, in a few deals, you could make a salary, right? I like that you kind of have that momentum, and being someone that's a bit more of a control freak, I like that my success is in my hands other than the hands of an employer or the hands of another company.
That's awesome. That's awesome. If you were to go back,
Ooh.
would you choose the same career?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Awesome.
Can't get out. Love it or like love and hate relationship.
It's a one-way road.
Yeah.
So I know that you're very active on social media. What's something that people see on Instagram or social media from you that's very different from reality?
That's very different from reality. Well, I mean, my social media is all about my dog now, so I mean, I think it doesn't get like it's
I know.
fully my reality.
I think your dog has took over the
I
social
know,
media
he's
page completely.
He's hacked my page. He's hacked my page.
What's
Outside
something-
of that, I think maybe in my social media, I don't really show too much behind the scenes. So, I mean, behind the scenes, what people see on social media is the beautiful homes, the showings, the aesthetic listings and all of that. But behind the scenes, what my day actually looks like is really like the down and dirty work. The preparation. There's the cold calling, the things that aren't so sexy. But yeah, that's, I would say, kind of.
I'm gonna hire somebody to come follow you.
Oh gosh.
And get a few of those shots
Okay, yeah.
behind the scenes to see what you're
A
doing.
lot of hair pulling
Yeah.
and just like.
To see what you do to get those listings
Yeah.
sold and to make them look so beautiful. All right. Have you ever advised a client not to buy a property even though that you knew that you would lose the commission?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've gotten in a lot of like fights with my clients where they really, really love the property and they're like, you know what, we're in a competitive situation. I'm just gonna bid 30K more or whatever that number was. And just knowing, as a realtor, I care more about the future and that relationship with that client that, sometimes that conversation doesn't go well. Sometimes if they really, really love a home and you're advising against certain things based on your knowledge, I would rather have that uncomfortable conversation knowing that from what I know that it's the right thing and hopefully stop a emotional decision that they might regret down the line.
Of course.
And ultimately, in those scenarios, they do end up paying off and they do come back being like, thank you for stopping from that situation, even
That's
though we
awesome.
might have bickered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think it's very important for the realtor to be, because the buyer or the seller are emotionally attached to the property,
Yeah.
so it's very important for the realtor to be very straightforward. Obviously you're not emotionally attached to the property because you're buying and selling
Yeah.
homes every day. So to tell them the actual truth, like if there is an issue that if there is a downside. I personally myself a few years back in the better market, I had a client that wanted to buy a property, an investment, to completely tear it down, build a new home, sell it, and hopefully he sees this, and he knows who he is. He's kind of like a family friend of mine, and I told him that this property is not good at the price point that they are selling it, which will sell in this market. You're not gonna really make any money.
Yeah.
And I told him that this is not a good idea. I don't think that you should buy it. And I feel like I put him in like a little bit of a awkward situation, and he didn't want to say no to me that, hey, I want to buy this whether you like it or not. So he went and bought it with somebody else.
Oh.
Yeah, so he went and bought it with somebody else, and then I found out from his brother a few months after that they bought it, and they built that home, and they lost about $450,000 after selling the built home. Yeah, so I don't wish that upon anybody, but honestly, like, in my opinion, if you are to hire a realtor to buy or sell a property for you, find a realtor that you can fully trust.
Yes.
If you cannot trust a person, do not go into a contract with them. Right. Because it's like going to the doctor and not trusting the doctor, that if the doctor gives you this medication and you tell him, no, this is not the medication that I should be taking, I'm going to take this instead. So the same thing, like the person is active in the market, they know the property, they know the area. I think you should definitely trust them fully and kind of like, if like rely on the opinions that they have. Right. And obviously, like, choosing the property is up to the client and, to their liking. But a lot of the other stuff is not just aesthetics. So I think the realtor should be definitely like a person that you trust. And a lot of the times, like, if a client is not happy with a realtor, I don't even know why they trust them and sign a contract with them. So I think you should definitely either don't go into a contract, or if you're going to a contract, you should trust the person 100%. Yeah. So another question for you. I know, so as I said, you're very active on social media now. Mush is very active on social media. I don't know if you're active that much. I think he's taken over your phone. But do you think you can make a major, like, business, a real estate business, without social media these days, or it has to kind of like be hand in hand?
I think it's definitely possible without social media. However, social media is just such a tool that gives us a lot more access to people and intent-based searches, right? When people are scrolling on social media, like, you as a realtor or as a business owner, you want to be where the people are. And whether we like it or not, people are spending a lot of time on their phones on social media. So 100%. It's either you're there where people are seeing you or you're not.
Okay, cool. Another question for you. Do realtors get paid too much?
Do realtors get paid too much?
Yeah.
I don't think we get paid enough.
Guys, the commission rates are going up.
Yeah, I think it really depends, right? And I think as a realtor, you have such volatility and the emotional volatility that comes with that too, where you have such great months, and then you could have a few months that are very quiet and very dry. So it really, you have those fluctuations, and you don't have a lot of certainty towards that. So I don't, with the hats that you wear as a realtor, it's.
No, I think no, I'm on that with you for sure, and I think that there is a lot of time and money that we invest into every single home, every single buyer, every single seller, every single property, and sometimes they don't even pay off.
Yeah.
So until the transaction is, like, sometimes I buy a pre-construction home for my client that closes in 4 years.
Yeah.
So all the time and marketing, this, that, finding the client, finding the right property for them takes so much time, and you buy a place for them, and if the transaction goes through in 4 years, that's when we get paid. So a lot of people think that it's a very easy turnover, which is definitely not.
Right.
So I think we are underpaid. So I'll take you up on that. Maybe we'll start increasing the commission rates here.
But also to add, like, the risk that we put on too, that we have to in our business, right? You take on a listing, you're sometimes, tens of thousands of dollars of marketing into a listing with no guarantee that you're going to get that return back, right?
Of
A
course.
seller could pull the plug at any time,
Yeah.
change direction. So, there's a lot of those things that don't get factored in when people think about commissions.
Exactly. It's not that just one single successful sold or successful purchase that you're making money. There's a lot of other transactions that don't happen that have a lot of costs for us,
Yes.
time-wise, financially, and you got to kind of like average out what the successful rate is, right? So you got to kind of like split the money that you're making in between all the monies that you're spending.
Exactly.
So AI is fairly new. A lot of people are using it. I use it personally myself a lot. I feel like a lot of people are now using it. There's nobody, at least in my opinion, there's not a lot of people that are doing like a Google search anymore. Everybody's on ChatGPT, Claude, or whichever AI they're comfortable with. Do you think AI can replace realtors?
No.
Why not?
I think, at the end of the day, this really is a relationship built business, and it's a people business. It's not about the homes. It's about the relationships and the trust that you build with your clients. And I don't think AI will ever be able to replace that.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree with you. There's a lot of things that AI does that are really good. I think a realtor can use AI towards doing so many tasks much better and
Oh, yeah.
and much faster, but the AI can never build those relationships. AI can't find that, like, people can't trust AI like they can in a person when they're selling their home. It's the biggest investment of people's lives that we're dealing with, right? So I don't
Absolutely.
think AI could come anywhere close. And there's a lot of dirty work behind the scenes. If AI can come and take care of those,
Yeah.
by all means, if AI can set up the signs, can
Yeah,
clean the
yeah.
homes, stage the homes, by all
Are
means,
the robots? Yes.
by
I
all
know.
means, I'll give away my career for sure.
Yeah.
So last question for you. If you had to eliminate one of these three, which one would you
Okay.
choose? Money, free time, or social life?
I have to eliminate one of those?
Eliminate one of those. Money, free time, or social life? It's one of
Social
those.
life? I don't know. I think social life, that would suck. Like, all three of those are a horrible answer, but maybe a social
Social
life?
life, yeah.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
if I have my dog.
Yeah, maybe your dog can fill in for the social
Yeah,
life.
I was like, how can
Yeah.
I fill that void?
Yeah.
But alone time, it's like, you need the alone. Actually, I don't know. Maybe alone time.
Maybe free time, yeah,
Maybe free time.
but not money for sure.
But what do we do? What do we do? People do anything.
Awesome. Kristina, it's been an awesome time having you on the podcast here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I
This was
appreciate
fun.
the time, and hopefully we'll have you here again soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you for staying with us until the end of this episode of Realtor Times. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on the notification button so you won't miss out on the next episode. Let's make Real Times with Realtor Times.